So you talked, Roderick, about being a police chaplain is about loitering with intent. So tell us
Yeah,
about.
it's a strange terminology, but it is about getting to know people and just creating an informal chat or space for them to chat. Recently, last year, again with government cutbacks, sadly, a lot of about eight of the regular staff, civilian staff I know where I'm based, were under threat of redundancy. And I was able to communicate with each of these individually, some by Facebook, some by just literally sticking my head round the door. And luckily, the majority, I think all of them, bar one, have actually kept their jobs, are still gainfully employed. Um, I knocked on the door of a friend who I've known for probably 25 years. And I said, "How are you going?" I said, "Are your job?" "Don't want to talk about it. Don't want to talk about it." She said, "Not interested. Don't want to talk. Don't ask me." 50 minutes later, after a cup of tea, I left. We had laughter, we had tears. Luckily, she's retained a job. Um, but it gets very informal.
Hmm.
Um, I bumped into somebody in a corridor and spent half an hour talking to this individual in a corridor. And he was just telling me all about his grandson who was in an incubator. Now, I don't care whether you're a police officer or not, anybody, if your grandchild is in an incubator for 2 weeks and it's touch and go whether they survive,
Yeah.
there's that stress. If you know where it goes, you've got the stress of the job, but you've also got family issues.
Yeah.
Again, I walked past the door. It's a few years back now. Somebody I knew his father had died about 6 months ago. He'd never spoken about it. And I just happened to say, "How's it going?" I won't name the name. And he just looked at me and he said, "Did you know my dad had died?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "Cup of tea?" "Yes." So the door gets shut, cup of tea, and we have the 45-minute informal chat. So
Mm.
it is very, that's what we call loitering with intent. I know it's a strange thing. But I think for a lot of chaplains, when I talk to even prison chaplains, it's getting to know people, getting to know the staff that you work with. Um, and I mean all staff. I mean, I was asked a few years ago, one of our cleaners who was getting remarried asked me to bless her rings. And I thought, that really sort of tugged at the heartstrings. I thought, oh, thank you very much. I didn't do it in the end. Our lead chaplain actually did it. Unfortunately, the time she wanted, I couldn't do, but we did find somebody who could do it. Yeah, so yeah, that's
So,
it's
so
getting to know people, getting to know them, and they get
yeah,
to know you. And I
yeah.
think that's the important thing. It's a bit
And
like,
this sounds
yeah,
like there's a lot of personal issues, but are there kind of certain stresses of the job that police officers are
oh
dealing
yeah,
that
yeah. I
you
mean, for
how
example, yeah.
how would you support them through that?
I mean, you get situations like, I mean, the majority of the time I don't deal with frontline police officers. It's the training college and the sort of staff. There's a thing on Facebook a while ago, and it said most individuals in their lifetime will deal with between 6 and 8 traumatic incidents. That's
Mm.
the average for people,
Mm.
bereavements, redundancies, illnesses, you name it, whatever. A police officer can deal with between 6 and 800 in their working career. And what I have found when I was a first aid trainer, you often found people at the end of a day, could be a 1 day course or a longer course, would have a chat. They'd hold back a little bit, ask you a question about something that they dealt with years ago. And when I talked to experienced police officers, they said, you can deal with hundreds of situations, quite gruesome situations. I won't go into any details, but there's always one that sticks in your mind. For some reason or other, just one.
Mm.
Um, And I can give an example. When I first joined St John Ambulance, I used to do voluntary work in hospital, and I actually volunteered in accident and emergency at Heartlands Hospital in Birmingham. And I used to do a Thursday night shift. And after 6 months, you get used to the sight of blood and vomit and everything that goes with that. And then I saw a young teenage boy accident victim with his leg hanging off, and I nearly vomited. I had to walk out of the cubicle, and it shocked me. And then I could see, when officers talk about this situation, why has that one situation stuck in your mind, and all the others that you've dealt with haven't?
Mm.
Strange,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And is there a particular kind of personality or experience, you think, then, that makes people suitable to be chaplains?
I don't know. I mean, most of my co-chaplains were not police employees. I think I'm not going to say they struggled. It took them a long time to settle in and to get used to the organisation, the way things work. It's a completely different thing, really, that you're having to look at. But I think if you're a chaplain, you're dealing with individuals. You have to forget they're police officers, or they could be senior police officers.
Mm.
It could be the cleaner, it could be the canteen staff. We don't know. I mean, it could be anybody, and they're suffering exactly the same problems that any average Quaker is suffering from.
Mm.
If somebody in your meeting had a bereavement or a grandchild that was seriously ill, uh, you would support them in exactly the same way. And I think it's just about being. One thing you'll probably gather from me is I can talk for England. I won't say to people have said to me that in the past. You can talk for England, you can. But occasionally, this is where you need to stop and listen and shut up,
Mm.
and you let them take the lead. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's. I think if you're interested in chaplaincy, I wouldn't say you would need to be anything special to be a police chaplain, because it's about people. I mean, as Quakers, we believe there's that of God in all people,
Mm.
including police officers and police staff. Yeah, you treat them as an individual.
Do you think there's a role for increasing the number of Quakers involved in police chaplaincy?
Yes, I think so. We recently had a meeting with West Midlands Police, the result of which was published in The Friend this week. There's an article all about it. And our lead chaplain, who is actually a female Muslim, and you see, there's one for diversity. Uh, Khadija is a highly competent young lady,
Mm.
uh, Muslim, obviously, and she's now our lead chaplain. She organises us and corrals us and points us all in the right direction. Um, as part of it, she would welcome more chaplain. I've had a few conversations with people who contacted me to say that they've had a prompt to say there was a vacancy for a police chaplain, and have a good chance. I'm not sure how many. I'm sure there are more than myself as a police chaplain,
Mm.
but I'm not whether Friend's House has a database or not.
Well, I'm just wondering what we can do to if somebody is interested in the potential for police chaplaincy, it feels quite coincidental sometimes.
Yes.
An
Yeah.
invitation's going to come about, like you already worked for them as a first aid
Yes.
trainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to have those connections already, perhaps, haven't you? Or build those connections if you're
Yes.
interested.
I mean, I think as part of uh, this meeting we had, that we've been asked if we wanted to provide a representative to sit with and discuss with West Midlands Police. And I'm talking at grassroots counter-terrorism level, not high-ranking stuff, just grassroots stuff. Um, and our meeting was organised originally by Cameron, who is a Muslim, and he does a lot of work with community and policing. Challenging inappropriate religious teaching
Mm.
is one thing.
Mm.
You get people who will uh, create situations that are inappropriate, if you know what
Mm,
I'm trying to say. Um, and I think you've got to be part of the community.
mm,
And I work on the basis of George Fox, as you know, go out and be an example. Just be who you are,
mm,
and
mm.
people get to know you. I mean, that's the thing. People get to know you, and I hope trust you.
Yeah. How
Um,
how has it changed you then? How has it enriched your own life to be a police chaplain
oh,
for
God. Oh,
13 years?
I think um, we had a discussion. We have a discussion group at my own meeting at Cartridge yesterday about regrets. Is there anything going back in your life that you would change, that you regret not doing or not doing? And I actually worked on the basis that no, I haven't. I've obviously had highs, I've had lows. I said to you about death of parents and a number of close friends and things like that. But um, I think everything you deal with is a learning curve. I know that sounds a bit strange, and I think it helps you. It makes you stronger as a person.
Mm.
Um, I have a number of long-term chronic medical conditions. I would say I'm 76. And my doctor at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital at the kidney unit, I've got stage 3 kidney failure, um, said to me recently, "And how are you?" I said, "Mentally, spiritually, or physically?" He laughed and he went, "All three, please." He said, "I've never had that reply." And I said, "Mentally and spiritually, I think I'm transcending. I'm on the up. I'm doing more online meeting for worship, join meditation groups. And I think mentally and spiritually, I'm definitely on the up.
Mm.
Physically, definitely on the
Yeah.
way down. You know, it's you have
The
to accept.
chaplaincy is something then that we can
Yeah.
do even when you get to the point where physically you're not so mobile anymore. Chaplaincy is still something you think that
Oh yeah, yeah. I think you
you can
can. I
do.
mean, strangely enough, I'm probably on my Facebook account. Uh, I've got the most diverse Facebook account going. I mean, I've got everything from a retired bishop, Roman Catholic priests, Roman Catholic nun, imams, rabbis,
Yeah.
Anglican ministers, Church of England, Methodists, uh,
And
police.
and of
You know,
course,
it's a complete across the board. You
yeah,
know,
chaplaincy is multi-faith nowadays, isn't
it
it?
is.
That's a
I
big
think.
part of how it
Yeah.
works.
We have about every 2 years we have a chaplains conference, and traditionally police chaplaincy was, should we say, was high Anglican. It
Mm,
was definitely
mm,
high Anglican. Today now it is literally is multi-faith,
yeah.
and the fact that we can value each other's faiths. As I say, our lead chaplain is female and a
Mm,
Muslim. I work with imams, rabbis, and when you and I've learned so much from them. When you look at the current situation, like with Gaza, Palestine, etc., and everything that's going on, and you can see an imam and a rabbi working together to
yeah.
try to create some form of unity and peace,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
begin to realise that we have a common spirituality.
Hmm.
We may be worship God in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
I can always remember at Cars Lane Church Centre in Birmingham. It was Islamic Awareness Week, talking to a young Muslim, and he said, "We're all climbing the same spiritual mountain,
Mm.
but it's big, and we're all coming up different paths, and eventually we all join up together at the top."
You
And I
know, one
like
of the
that.
things we do in the prison is simply, as
Yeah,
you said, the different chaplains will
yeah,
walk around together sometimes
yep,
just to be seen together,
yes,
you
yeah.
know. So let's finish then with thinking about what do you think a Quaker chaplain offers particularly? Is there something distinctive that we offer?
I don't know really whether it didn't it. I mean, I tried to avoid the label. We had this discussion within our chaplaincy service about putting a badge. We have a name badge. You have your name on, but it doesn't say what faith you are.
Mm,
Now, for one or two chaplains, obviously, some Muslims dress in traditional Islamic dress.
Mm.
Our rabbi will occasionally does exactly the same. Some people have got dog collars, obviously, but
Mm.
we don't put on our particular faith. And the one thing we're not there to do is promote our own religion.
No.
Obviously, if people ask you questions, what is your faith, what do you believe, etc., etc. I'm more than happy to engage in that. I mean, obviously, but you're not there to say, I am bring you Quaker greetings and
Mm.
whatever. I think you've got to come from the heart. And as I say, as people get to know you, um, yeah, I think and it is one of the golden rules with chaplaincy. I'm also a chaplain at Birmingham University, and we have similar situation there. You're not there specifically as a Quaker chaplain. You're a chaplain who happens to be a Quaker,
Yeah. Yeah.
or a chaplain that happens to be a Muslim, and so on. And I think that if you put your faith, I was going to say faith behind you, it's what you are as a person, as an individual. I think that's the important thing. I wouldn't put anybody off uh, doing any kind of chaplaincy work. And I think, I mean, prison chaplaincy is, I've got friends, I belong to West Midlands, we have a CJG, Community Justice Group.
Mm.
And some of my co-chaplains with that are prison chaplains.
Yeah.
And, we talk about the problems they have. It's,
Yeah.
the people have to deal with. You're going to deal with difficult people. You may have to deal with some very stressed out people.
Mm.
Um, you don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go into details, but I know some of the first aid situations the police officers had to deal with are quite horrendous. They really are. Um, and
Yeah.
obviously you keep it confidential. We do not report back, what has been said or
Yeah.
revealed to us, and that. But
But you're right. There's
well,
a lot of
yeah,
similarities between prison and police chaplaincy,
yeah,
and I hope that some of these videos will encourage people to take them up. Thank you very much.
yeah.
Let's leave it there for now,
It's a
and
pleasure.
thank you so much for talking to me.
I shall keep on joining in with our chaplains. We join in with chaplains discussion groups and share